You don't want to continuously, repetitively do the same thing over and over again, right? So if you automate it, then it'll be on a loop, so to speak, that it'll just trigger through a lead magnet or any other aspect of your business that you want to automate, so that it can just go and just work for you while you're sleeping and you don't have to worry about it. As well as, if somebody does click onto one of your lead magnets, you don't have to take the time to write out an email, send it to them. You can just create a nurturing sequence and it all will happen for you.
Where do you think you should automate first?
Your CRM. My CRM is Honeybook, and Honeybook has a lot. Okay, so that's where all of my contracts are. That's where all of my email sequences are to my clients. That's a platform that my clients also pay through, as well as other features. So I would definitely, me personally, would start there, automating it. So when you get a inquiry, that's the terminology that Honeybook uses. But if you get a new person interested in your services or product, it's going to start to take them down a funnel. But with Honeybook, it automates it. So all you have to do is create your emails, then set up a workflow, which is another word for automations, and it'll trigger for the days that you set it on. And then it will trigger for payments. It will trigger which contract. You can do all of that while you're sleeping. And someone can just click on your contact form, fill out the information, and how you have your back end of your CRM set up is going to send them the correct brochure, the correct email, and you don't have to do anything. So I would definitely start there. That way you have organization from when your inquiries are coming in. You can list the priorities of each one that comes in. That way you know when your projects start and when your projects will end, or when you need to have a meeting with potential clients.
I was actually going to say that that would be my first place where I would start as well. And this goes into why automations are actually key. Um, One is because it's going to save you money, and it's going to help bring you in money as well. Because one of the first places you want to look at is anything that's client or customer facing. Um, that would be my first priority for that reason. If your clients or customers or potential clients are having a wonderful experience, it's just going to make it that much easier for them to book with you and sign that contract. If you're making it hard for them to reach you to begin with, then that's one of the things that, they're going to remember. They're going to start questioning, how easy was it for me to get in touch with this person? So, we all know that first impressions are important. So when you start looking at automations, I would say look into anything that's client or customer service facing first. And it is going to save you money because, like Shantae said, you don't necessarily have to be there. So you can automate things where you're actually sleeping, or you're out shopping, or you're cooking for your family, or whatever you're doing, and you do not have to miss that lead, right? And lead is potentially money. So we need to definitely get to a point where we're automating anything client facing, anything potential customer facing, so you don't lose out on any leads. Um, so your CRM system, which is your customer relationship management system, there's several of them out there. And it doesn't matter what type of business that you have, that is one of the things you definitely want to look at first. I know a lot of people also have concerns. How will they accept payment? I do love CRMs because you don't have to worry about that. You can actually do the payment through the CRM. And like Honeybook, it does have a scheduling tool. And that is another thing that I think is so important to have. There's several of them out there. There's several of them free. But to me, even as a potential client for someone else, it is so helpful when you're like, okay, we need to make a meeting so we can talk about next steps. And the person can just click on the link and see when you're available, and they know when they would be able to do it, book it themselves, and that's a day. So, Shantae, what would be your second thing? Like, if you're looking to automate, you got your CRM system, you got your clients taken care of. What is the next thing you would look at?
My productivity system. I personally use ClickUp, and I love ClickUp. Um, and I specifically love it because of their automations. Now, if you don't know about automations, they can get very, very expensive. So a platform like ClickUp, I personally like because you can manipulate the platform to automate on a task. Okay, I know that was a lot. So a productivity system is going to help you organize the tasks that you have per client, or even tasks, or your to-do list that you have for your own business, right?
If you're trying to choose which project management system that you want to use, you need to kind of assess exactly where you're at. You want to assess, how how many people are using it, how many people are going to be on this project management tool, how in depth are your projects. um those are kind of the first two that I will look at. And then I would say learning curves. Some have a bigger learning curve than others. So I think you would also want to look at yourself and say, how much of a learning curve right now do I want to spend? Or, you know, am I very tech savvy and this shouldn't be a problem? The next question I would ask myself, do I have a team? That makes a difference. It makes a difference as far as financially, and then how in depth you need your project management system to be, right? Because if you're talking to several different people and the whole goal is to get all these different people on the same path for the particular project, then that's something you want to take in consideration. So I would not necessarily recommend Trello for that. But I do think some good ones are Asana. I do think ClickUp is really good for that as well. Basecamp, I think, is in the middle. What I like about Basecamp is they just have a flat fee. So if you do have a team, but you guys are doing pretty simple things, then I would say Basecamp could be a really good one for you. Well, the one thing I also wanted to add, when you're looking for a project management system and you're thinking about all of those things, also think about if you're going to need to add in your customer or your client to the project management system. Every once in a while, I may have a client who has, uh, so many things that we're almost doing their whole back end, and they may not even have a project management system. So in that case, what I may do is actually create a portion of the project management system that we use as a team and invite them to their section. So there are certain project management systems that you can do that as well. And then that way your client can basically use your project management system, but they're locked off from the rest of it. So after you have done the whole client, the client facing things, next thing you want to look at is how you're actually doing the projects. You want to make sure you get those streamlined. Make sure the stuff the client can't see is organized well enough for you to see it, and you to make sure that you're straight. You have your checklist, and you can, make sure it's really well. Notion is also one that I was introduced to slowly, so I don't know a whole lot about that one, but definitely I would put that on the list of ones to look at as well.